Okay, now the last thing that's part of these little lessons is the idea of twins. And it might seem like this is kind of out of place. I think it is too. I think it should actually be in another unit, but I didn't get to decide which things went in which unit. So we will come back to this idea for sure when we talk about reproduction. But because twins kind of has something to do with cell division, then I guess it goes here. Now the first thing I want to mention is the word conception. That's like where they came from. How did twins happen? There are two basic types of twins that we will discuss that you have to be familiar with. The first type is called monozygotic. Mono means one. And the second part of the word, oh yeah, that's right. The second part of the word zygotic is referring to a zygote. Maybe that's a word that's familiar to you, maybe it's not. The zygote is what you get when a sperm fertilizes an egg. That's the first structure. So when we call twins monozygotic, it means that there was one zygote. That's where the word is coming from. Now in this particular type of twins, it is this word here that is the most important. They have identical genetic material. Identical. They came from one sperm that fertilized one egg. That means they started out with the exact same set of chromosomes, exact same set of DNA. Now what happens with this type of twins is that the zygote, so I said that's what we call it when the sperm fertilizes the egg, that's the first cell. The other word there is the word blastocyst, and I don't want you to worry too much about that word right now. It's a word that we'll talk about more when we talk about reproduction. It's what we call the zygote a few days after, once it's gone through mitosis a little bit. But at some point, this group of cells that's starting to form breaks into two. So instead of being all clumped together as one group, it breaks into two. Since they started out with the same sperm and the same egg, and then because of mitosis, there were more than one copy of the cell, and then those cells broke into two groups, they started at the same point. So on the left of this picture, it's showing, here's the egg, she's waving, eggs don't have hands. There's the sperm. He's excited. That's why there's an exclamation point. The sperm fertilizes the egg. You can see starting here, mitosis is happening. The egg that's fertilized goes from one cell to two cells to four cells. And then at some point there, I don't know if you can see in the background of this picture here, it shows like a little, like a cartoon punch symbol. And those two clumps of cells break into two groups of four. Mitosis is going to just keep multiplying the number of cells anyways, but that can give rise to two identical people. So, keyword is identical. Monozygotic twins are identical twins. So I have a question. Can identical twins be different sexes? Can identical twins be different sexes? They cannot. If they are identical, they have the same genetic material, including sex chromosomes. So, identical twins could not be different genders, different sexes. They have to be the same one. They could be male, they could be female. And I'm only talking about biological sex based on chromosomes. I am not talking about how they feel or what happens later on. But if twins are monozygotic, their genetic material is identical. That means they'll both have two X chromosomes, or they'll both have an X and Y, but they have the same exact set of chromosomes. That's why they look so gosh darn similar. Now, the other type of twins, dizygotic, And if you look at the word, it starts with di. Di means two.
Could all grade 12 students with the last initial G through L please come and get your picture taken? That's all grade 12, initial G through L. Please come to get your picture taken.
So, di means two. In this type of twins, there are two zygotes, dizygotic. These type of twins resemble each other as much as any brother-sister combination would. So I'm sure some of you have siblings, and perhaps you kind of look like your siblings a bit, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're me, and you feel like you might not be genetically related to your family because you don't think that you look like them. My mom argues with me on this, that everyone else in my family has a different nose, and it makes our face look different. Anyways, dizygotic twins don't look identical necessarily. They could look very, very similar, but they are not identical. That's the definition. Now, since they are siblings, they still share some DNA, right? They still have the same mom, same dad. Chances are they inherited a lot of the same traits, but there's no guarantee that they are very identical or that they look very different. They could be anywhere on that spectrum. Here's how dizygotic twins work. Two eggs are released. That's atypical. Typically, only one egg is released, so only one sperm can fertilize that one egg. But if two eggs are released, there are bajillions of sperms. That's a fake number that I made up, but there are a lot of sperm. Lots and lots and lots. And usually what happens is only one egg gets fertilized because there's only one egg. But if there happen to be two eggs, there are enough sperm that one of them could potentially fertilize the second egg as well. Since those eggs were made via meiosis, you might recall one of the reasons meiosis exists is for recombination. The eggs are not identical to each other. One of them could be very different from the other, or they could be very similar, but there's variety built into meiosis. Two eggs from the same woman are not going to have identical DNA. The chances of that are very, very slim because she has 46 chromosomes, 2 of each of them, plus there's crossing over, plus there's independent assortment. So there's all these things that can happen to get a different assortment in the eggs. So dizygotic twins are when there are two eggs fertilized by two different sperm. So one egg is fertilized by one of the sperm. See up here in the picture, there's two sperm. They're very confused because there are two eggs waving at them. Each sperm fertilizes one of the eggs. The egg goes through mitosis, and now I have two clumps of cells. I had two clumps of cells in monozygotic twins, but they started out at the same point, and that's what was different. In dizygotic twins, they don't have identical DNA because different gametes made them. Okay, so dizygotic twins, like you see in this picture, could be different sexes. There could be a boy-girl combination of dizygotic twins. This is the type of twins that in everyday language we might call fraternal twins, where they're not identical. Okay? Does anyone have questions they want to ask about twins? Okay, there is a lot of really cool research